Okay, so the reason for the webinar today is because we've added a couple of new features regarding the job ETA, order ETA, and then RFC ETA as well. And then we've also, Jeff has been kind enough to add a little bit of an audit trail on the job creation when you check in a vehicle, completion of a job, and then also canceling a job. So I'm going to run through all of that and show you how to handle all of that. But I think it's important to understand why we've added these features. So to start off with the job ETA, that's obviously the check-in of the vehicle. So we all know that you can either create the job and check in the vehicle at the same time or the same date, but you can also put in a future date for the check-in. Now, sometimes what happens is the parts are ordered and then there might be a delay or the parts are not in yet or whatever the case might be. Then you would need to change the ETA or the check-in date of the vehicle. I'm just actually going to go there for us quickly so you guys can all see what I'm talking about. So on the jobs in progress window, our expected on date, that would normally be the date that you're expecting the vehicle to come in. So if the job is still pending, for example, that's job number 24, and you know that there's going to be a delay in some of the parts that's going to arrive, then obviously you want to change the expected date that you're going to receive the vehicle or the vehicles can come into the shop, because that's going to affect the completion date of the job. And obviously, if the completion date stays the same, then it's going to become an overdue job like this, for example, with the red dot, as you all know. So in order to keep everything, I almost want to say organized and correct, then take note of all the dates that we're going to change and how it affects, another part on the system as well. The order ETA, when you're ordering a part, and we've added that feature where you can put in the expected date that you're expecting the parts to come in, but you are also welcome to change that date. So for example, if you know that the parts are supposed to arrive today and at the end of the day they haven't arrived, obviously following up on that order, changing the expected date for that order, and then following the chain again if you want to change it for the job. If it's just delayed by a day or so, obviously it might not be necessary to change the job ETA, but the order ETA will then be changed. And then we're also going to talk a little bit about the RFC ETA, which is sending your parts back. So if you have a part that you're RFCing or wanting to send back, you can also enter a date when you're expecting them to come and collect that part. Now, again, same procedures with the orders. You can go and check on the dashboard, which I'll go through with you. You can go and check on the dashboard if the RFC ETA date is today, and at the end of the day they haven't come to collect it. You can follow the same procedure by phoning, following up, and then changing the ETA date based on the information that you receive from the supplier. So just to quickly go and show you the order and the RFC ETA date on the dashboard, where you would go to look for the information that we've just spoken about on the oversight tab. Let me close this one first. On the dashboard, if you go to the purchasing tab over there, so orders expected today, that little widget there, if I click on that, then you'll all be able to see I'm expecting this order number 31 to arrive today based on the expected date that I've put in there. So that's where you can go and view the order ETA dates and then follow up on those should the dates, obviously if it was today and the part hasn't arrived, then we're going to need to change that. So you are welcome on this window to then go and change that expected date as well. On the RFCs expected today, same procedure. We don't have any at the moment, but if you had RFCs that you're expected to be collected today, then you can use that widget to go and view what needs to go back and then follow up on that procedure as well. Okay, so I'm not going to make this a very long, dragged out story. We just want to go through the features with you and show you where to go and do what. And then if you have any questions, like I said, we'll go through that. So I'm going to start on the quote window to show you something else that Jeff has added for us as well, which is quite a useful feature. and that is to be able to mark or select which parts do you need to arrive at the shop before the vehicle is checked in. Okay, so we do this at job creation stage. So that's why I'm using the quote window. I've put a quote in here for us. Please take note, I'm working on my demo version, so bear with me. But I added some new information so that it's quite up to date for us. So I'm going to use quote number 33, which I've marked as approved already, and we're going to just go and create the job so I can show you what the process is from there. So create the job. So we're putting in, obviously, if you put today's date in, you will not be able to select any parts that needs to be there before the car is checked in because you're checking it in today. So the check-in date that you're using needs to be a future date. So let's, for example, use Monday's date, which I believe is the 20th. All right, we're going to say, okay, 3 days. We're going to leave everything else as is. This is not what we're focusing on at the moment. Let me just add this data here. Okay, so the moment I say okay, it's going to bring up this little window for you, job parts for job. Now, at this stage, this is where you will go and select the parts that you want to arrive before the vehicle is checked in. So everything you need before then. Just for example, I'm going to tick on the bumper, the lower cover, center, bumper insert. Okay, so what it's doing as well here on this set default message that you're getting is it's going to ask you if you choose a specific part. Do you want that part to always be set as a default to arrive before the check-in, or would you rather not have it and then just select it per job or per quote that you're creating the job for? Now, remember that whoever is creating the jobs might not have all the necessary information, depends on how your shop is run. So if they select yes by, I don't know, error or mistake, let's select yes quickly, the lower cover for the bumper. If you need to go and fix that error that they've created, you can always go to the Setup tab under your part descriptions. Okay, I'm just going to start typing that so we can go there. You'll see now under the part descriptions that this part is marked as default now. It will always be set to be received before the vehicle is checked in. If you want to fix that, you can always just untick this part. Okay, and then click close. So we'll still have it selected for this specific job, but not for everything going forward. So that's just to show you how to go and correct that. Okay, I'm going to just select a few of them. I'm going to say no for now. Okay, and then once you're done selecting all the parts, you can click on continue, which will then take you through the process that you're used to, basically the job printouts and everything. Again, I'm just going to close that. We're not focusing on that at the moment. So now when you go to your job, I'm going to click on go to job there. You'll see right at the top our job that we've created, which is still a pending job. So our expected date is now Monday, the 20th. We have a couple of parts or a few parts here that you see as ticked. And just below that over here, you'll see these are the parts that's set to arrive before the vehicle's checked in. Right, so obviously now this is where the ordering comes in. So we're going to move over to the order window as well. I'm going to leave all of these open so you can see what's going on. So on the purchasing tab, orders, we're going to go to, let me just grab that job number quickly, job number 25. So when you go to job parts, we put our job number in. As you all know, we're going to select a supplier. All right, and then this is where you can go and select the parts you want to order, whichever parts they are. You create your order as per normal, so this all stays the same. But over here, on the expected on, this is where you would put the date that you're expecting this order to arrive. So let's say this is tomorrow, just for interest's sake. All right, and we're creating the order for those parts. So when we say OK, I'm not going to print it right now, you'll see our order right at the top here, order number 33. Our expected date there is the 17th, so on Friday. All right, you'll see on the job, as you all know, those parts are all set to be ordered now. Now, if tomorrow comes and the parts have not arrived yet, and you need to change that date, you'd go and double click here on your expected column on that specific date, and let's change the date to Monday. So I can just type in 20-05, press enter, and then it'll put the new expected ETA there for me. All right, just to quickly run you through the icons here as well. If I hover over the icon on the question mark, you'll see those are all the parts that are undelivered orders with ETA dates not set. As you can see here, you'll see a couple of them there. So there's no ETA date there. The ones with a tick, the orders with unchanged ETA dates or delivered before the original ETA date. So let's take that one for example. So the expected date for arrival was today, but then the parts were received on yesterday's date. So you'll see the little tick because they've arrived and the date was before the expected ETA date. Okay. And the exclamation mark, the one we've just used as an example. So that was originally tomorrow's date. Now, because we went to go and change that to Monday's date, you will see the little exclamation mark which shows a changed ETA date and also delivered after ETA date. So those will be the two reasons for that icon, just to give you an indication of what they stand for. Right, now obviously when you receive your parts, it'll put the receive date in there, and that might also then change, as we've discussed now, change those icons over there. All right, so if you've changed your order ETA, which is the scenario we went through just now, you've changed your order ETA date. So those parts are only set to arrive on Monday. If you need to arrange with your client or your customer to go and bring in the vehicle on Wednesday, you can just go and change your expected date there from the 20th to, let's say, the 22nd, and change your expected date there. Okay, so for any of those dates that you need to change, you simply need to double click in that column where you want to change the date and then alter the date according to whatever you need to do. All right, I'm also going to go through receiving the goods with you and how to put that in, because I want you to be able to see what we've done. So I'm just going to use a quick one quickly. So go to capture GRVs and RFCs. I'm just going to use the sheet for the today, which is the 16th. So this part you all know, that's basically staying the same. Your order number that we're choosing, we can actually use the one we've just done. So 914, 914. Okay, what I'm doing is I'm just putting in the amounts there so we can just receive these parts. So checking in the order. We'll select all of them. Are we happy with our prices? We're just going to say accept. This is just for me to show you the receive date. So if we go to our order now, you'll see that we've received them on today's date, the one we've just worked on. That's why I use that one. And it now has a little green tick as well. So it's changed from Monday to today. And before the because the receive date is before the expected check-in date or arrival date, sorry, then that will change the icon. Okay, so we're going to go over to RFCing a specific part. If you go to view GRV items, which I find the easiest way to RFC a part, let's go and work with, to make it even simpler, we're going to choose job number 24, which will filter everything for us a little bit. So let's choose a part we need to RFC. Let's say that specific bumper guide we can RFC. So create RFC. All right, we first need to just put in all the information if necessary. We're going to say it's no longer required. Now on this create an RFC window, you'll see the expected collection date here. You can also put that in. So let's again put tomorrow's date in there, just as an example. And we can then say we're happy with the RFC. You know by using this procedure that it's going to mark that as RFC'd. We're not going to print it right now. And if I go over to the RFC window now, you'll see our RFC there. And using the same icons basically, but let me just go through these 3 specific dates with you. So with the RFCs, the returns for credit, you have your original return date and your expected return date. So when you first enter an RFC, those two dates will always be the same. Okay, because it's assuming, because we've said the expected date is supposed to be the 17th, the original and the expected return date will be the 17th. Now, again, if the end of the day comes and the part has not been collected, you are then welcome to go and use the same procedure to change that expected collection date. So double click in that column, the expected column. Let's change that to Monday as well. And you'll see, let me go back there for us. So you'll see the little exclamation mark once again because we have changed that date. It used to be the 17th. We've changed it now to Monday because they didn't come and collect it. And then that gives us the exclamation mark. You also still have the actual return date there. So the actual return date is based on your PCR sheet on the returns at the bottom that we normally do. So when they come and collect the part, you know you all use the captured GRVs and RFCs, PCR goods returns. So you'll book out your parts here, and then that date will come into the actual column here. All right, so we can actually go and do that as well, so you can see what that looks like. If we go over to today's sheet we've created, we can use the bottom section. We'll choose our RFC there. And then checking it out, so you all know this procedure. Right, now because the actual date is today's date, you'll see the little green tick. All right, same reasons. The RFCs with unchanged ETA date, which was not our case, or returned, let me just hover over there, returned before the ETA date. That's the reason we're having ours, because this date is before the actual collection date that we put in. Okay, so this feature is quite useful just to keep a little bit, better track of your parts, when it's supposed to go back, when it's supposed to arrive, which in return obviously affects your job ETA date. So I'm going to stop there quickly before we go over to the parts, job part status, because I also want to discuss that a little bit with you. So if anybody has a question, I can see some, I think these are older ones. So does anybody have a question? Just raise your hand, or you can just ask me to I can unmute you as well.
Yeah.
Right.
Just ask her if she can slow it down a bit, because obviously
what are you wearing?
I can actually hear everybody, so you're welcome to speak to me. Hi guys.
Hi, Dad. We're having a laugh.
Okay, so what's up? Do you guys have any questions?
No, we're good.
I didn't know that Natasha could turn so red.
Oh my word. The only thing is we're having a bit of lag here, so we can't really see what exactly you're doing.
Well, it's delayed following.
Yeah.
Oh no. Well, what I'll do is, when we're done, I usually go and I link everything up to YouTube as well. So I can send you the link to YouTube, and you're welcome to go and watch it there also.
Okay, excellent.
Okay, so no questions thus far. Let me just, I do have a question quickly. When we change the arrival date of the part, why does the expected for customer to arrive not change automatically?
Let me answer that.
Okay, Jeff?
So the person who's checking in the part is typically not the person who controls when the job gets booked in, etc. And so we're going to, that's linked into the email. There's an internal email feature which we're going to talk about next week, where an email gets sent alerting whoever you want in that email list that there's a problem with the check-in date now. And then that person who would obviously receive that email would be responsible to contact the client and explain the situation in terms of the check-in date. So that's why it doesn't automatically happen, because, as I said, it's typically a different person who would have that responsibility, and also it involves contacting the client, etc., etc. So yeah, but we'll discuss that next week. That's a little bit more features that we can unlock for you guys.
Okay, I'm gonna say thank you. It's fine. Just to add something as well to what Jeff is saying is that you're not 100. If we do automatically change that date to a specific date, whatever we think it should be, it might not be the date that the client's able to bring in the vehicle. So, like Jeff said, we'll have to contact the client and then discuss the check-in dates with them. If I'm right, Jeff.
That's 100% correct, yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna go on. I'm going to mute everybody again.
So,
And then I'm going to go ahead. Okay, wait, Justin. Yes, Justin.
sorry.
That's
I
fine.
just remembered something.
Okay.
Did you mention anything about a change log? Do we have anything of that sort where we actually, where we're talking about changing quite a lot of these dates? And is there any sort of report that will keep track of the actual changes that we've made that we could extract?
Yeah, so that's what I'm going to show you just now. I hope that's going to answer your question. So we're going to go through the job board status window quickly. So if you don't see exactly what you're looking for there, then we can discuss if you're looking for something different.
Okay, thank you.
100. Right, so I'm going to mute everybody again. We're going to go through the job board status quickly, and you'll see that has a little bit more detailed and bringing everything together, sort of. So let's go over to that window. So on the work tab, you'll see the job board status. All right, so I'm going to try and put in as much information here as I can so you can see everything. And just make some of these columns a little bit wider. All right, so in the job board status window, you'll see the job number, your icon here. I'm going to go through this with you. Then you'll have your expected check-in date or expected arrival of the vehicle. This is for your job. All right, then there's your expected completion date of the job, some other details that you might require. Then this is whether or not, if you've received parts, the received quantity will be in here, and that will indicate to you that you have actually, that part has been delivered and you've received it and you've booked it in. These three over here is regarding your orders. So the order number, the date of the order, the expected time of arrival of the parts, that will be in this column here. And remember, like I said, this has to do with your ordering. So this will show you a little bit of when you are changing something or what your specific date is. If there's any problem areas, we'll try and highlight it through this window. So I'm going to use the filter to show you different things. So just bear with me, and then if I'm done, then we can take care of all the questions. So the icon on the left is obviously a not ordered icon, as you all know it. So if the part has not been ordered, then you'll see that icon on the left. If it's been delivered, you will see the little green tick. The two in between is what we're going to take care of. So the exclamation mark here is the parts not delivered that will be late. So if I right click on that one, for example, just to show you those specific ones, you'll see that the job date here is the 9th. The completion date is the 11th. This is old data. I'm just using it to show you something. And then your order ETA date. So this basically is there because our parts haven't been delivered yet. And obviously we're over this completion date by far because it's old. Then you will see that little icon there. All right. I'm going to right click on that one, just to show you the parts not delivered that will be on time. So this is all based on your job completion date and the time set for the order or the parts to arrive in the shop. Okay, so this is a little bit new. That's what I did yesterday and today, just to give you a better indication. So you'll see this, for example, none of these parts have been received. So the completion date is set to be the 23rd, and we're expecting those parts on the 17th already. So because we don't really see a problem here, or not foreseeing these parts to be late, you'll still see this little icon here with, it looks like a little green tick as well, a tiny one inside the circle. Okay, when the parts have been delivered, you'll see the little green tick, you'll see them as received, and unfortunately you won't see the received date here, but we will indicate to you the dates. If they've changed or they're red or over that specific date, then they will turn red, as I understand. So let me just right click here quickly, which I can show you then. Some of the older ones. So for example, this was still 2019 March. This part hasn't been ordered, that's all red. The date is passed, so that's all red, and it still shows you the part hasn't been ordered. So the window will change based on the information and how you change the dates and when they arrive, etc., etc. Jeff, do you want to add something here quickly?
No, I think you've been pretty thorough there. Obviously, if the part is required to arrive before the job expected check-in date, and it hasn't arrived by the time it's by that date, then that's going to be flagged red as well. You know, if it hasn't been received, so then it'll flag up as the exclamation icon as well.
Okay, perfect. All right, so those are the three icons that, and this specific window. So Justin, I'm going to unmute you quickly. Do you want to just tell me if that is more or less what you were looking for?
Yeah, I was looking for basically just an audit trail of all the changes that we would be making, in case you know, somebody comes along and we originally had a completion date or receiving date for one thing, and then changed it a couple of days later because of, you know, their own trying to hiding something. You know, that was more along the lines, because it'll come up and you could check, okay, well, you've changed this date, what actually happened here, you know?
How many times
If they're constantly changing something, changing the date over and over again, you know, instead of reporting that there's an issue behind a specific part. That's kind of more along the lines of what I was referring to. If there was something we could just go, okay, so let's just have a report of all the changes that we've made over the last couple of days on to parts or job completion dates, and yeah.
Oh, lovely day. Okay, let's have a look at it. Sure.
Okay, so I think Jeff is talking to someone else. Jeff,
That's confusing.
Jeff, did you hear Justin's question? No, I don't think. No, he's not with us. Okay, so
100893.
sorry, let me just quickly mute him there.
Okay.
Otherwise, we're all going to hear him. You're basically looking for like an order trail, if I understand you right. So yeah. As far as I know, that's not available for the parts section yet. We've started doing something similar with the jobs, which I'm going to show you now. We can always ask Jeff, as soon as he's done, I'll ask him if that's something that's in the pipeline. But for now, the information, I do understand what you mean. Like, someone's welcome to go and change the dates, and then you're not going to know if there's a problem, you know, delaying the job, etc.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, obviously. Now I can see where the concern is coming in. For the time being, I'm not 100% sure if there is a security on that. So if we can do a little bit of an access rights on that. So you know who's able to change which date, and obviously that person can then answer for such. But in the meantime, there's not an order trail at the moment. This is the best I can give you right now.
Cool. It's not necessarily that I'm concerned about if they're changing, because I'm sure there will be reasons, but it's just something a nice tool to have at our, if we have our management meetings, to sit down and say, well, so explain to me what happened with these jobs. I see we've changed the dates on Mr. Whatever's job 3 times. What's going on here? Why is it that this job keeps on getting delayed? What's going on? I think this is a useful thing to have.
Yes, absolutely. No, I do agree with you. And also, like, if you have quite a lot of, let's say, orders that are delayed, and then which delays your job
Yes.
in return. So that's something you could look at, do
Yeah.
you want to change your supplier, etc. So different
Exactly.
cause for
Exactly. Yeah.
concern. Okay,
Yeah. Why
perfect.
is it always the supplier that's running late, or whatever the case may be?
Yes. Justin, do you also, sorry, you two Justins, Justin at Autoroth and Justin at Dent Magic Somerset West. So, Justin,
Yes.
do you have a question as well?
Yeah,
Okay.
I was just wondering, seeing that you might be putting in like to have a paper trail on how many times it was changed and things like that. Will it be possible if you could perhaps have like something that will put up a red flag as soon as it's changed the second time, so that you can see that this job has been changed once before, it's been changed again. Now the flag is up, so then you can investigate why the flag went up before the thing becomes bigger than what it should be.
Absolutely. I think that's a very
Yeah.
valid question. I'm writing all of this down so I can give it over to Jeff as well. Unfortunately, he's a bit busy, so he's left us. But I'm making notes of what you guys are saying so we can put that in, because this is very helpful for us. We need to know what situation you're sitting in and then what your cause for concerns would be, because we could do something theoretically from our side, but we need your input in order to make it work for you. So this is fantastic to get some feedback. Okay, so I'm going to mute you quickly so we don't have any background noise here. So everybody's happy with that window. I'm going to move on from that. I want to take you to the little order trail we've created for the jobs, which I actually find quite useful. So that's why I was thinking now that in terms of the orders and the RFCs and everything, we might look at doing something similar like what we have right now. So on the jobs itself, when you create a job, I'm going to just use this one here. So what we've done is at certain stages, almost like your SMSing. So when you create a job, when you check in a vehicle, when you complete the job, and then also when you cancel a job, we have a little order trail. So you can see who actually logged in and did which action and on what date. So for this one that I've created now, you can see the job created is today's date, and it'll timestamp it for you. The job expected check-in date that I have set is obviously the 22nd. We've changed it to the 22nd of May, and it's also timestamped today because I did it today. The expected completion date is now set to be the 24th, and as you all know, that's based on the amount of days that we put in for how long is this job going to take. So the completion date is changed based on the expected on date that will change. So if I do happen to check in this job today, let's go do that. You'll see that it timestamps it at the bottom here as today's date, and I have checked in this job, and it also tells you the user. So obviously whoever's logged in on their name, and that's why we urge everybody to please not tick that little box that says always log in with my name, because the day that you're off or sick and somebody else needs to sit and work on your PC, then like I'm saying, like this is where it starts getting a bit confusing, because everybody's going to think that you did that but you're actually off, and the person actually working on Veculum then isn't held responsible. So it's quite important that everybody stick to their logins as well. So the job check-in will then be listed on the notes. So the whole order trail is kept under the notes section on the jobs in progress window. You can also go and view it on the jobs all window. They'll all be carried over there as well. So we've done the job creation date. You can see when you change the expected date, when you actually check in the vehicle. If you do happen to complete a job, I'm just going to need to take one that I've received all the parts on or has no parts. Okay, so I'm going to take that one quickly. If you do happen to complete a specific job, I'm just going to reopen it so you guys can see what it's doing. If you complete it and we click on notes there, you'll see the completion date there as well. So it also puts today's date in there, my name, because I've logged in on my name, and then job completed. You'll see now, because I marked this job as costed earlier over here, it also puts the date in there saying costing done. So there's quite a few things that's marked on this window that you will see in your notes section that we're keeping track of. When you cancel a job, for example, we need one we have an ordered parts for, which is the only one I can cancel. So if I do happen to cancel this job and we click on the little dustbin, you will see, is that the job I cancelled now? Wait, there. You'll see the job cancelled note as well. So from our side, that was just something useful so you can see, because we do have a lot of clients with quite a few staff members, and then people are cancelling jobs and completing jobs, and this part hasn't been there, and that was supposed to have been there. So it becomes a little bit of a mess. So we've sort of created the audit trail for that, so you can start keeping track of who does what and when. And if there was a mistake in something like this vehicle hasn't actually been checked in or the job shouldn't be complete, then those actions need to be reversed. So does anybody have any questions regarding that? I'm going to unmute you quickly. Sorry, give me a second. All right.
Just the number 2 here. Just one.
I actually really think you guys should meet because, yeah, you are both, I know both of you and you're very similar.
I'm just crazy as well. But nevertheless. I'm just wondering if you could perhaps put in that little window that you have for invoicing when you need to cancel an invoice, when you need to give a reason why the thing has been cancelled. Because for argument's sake, I'm busy with 30 different things at the same time. I cancel job and then I forget why I actually canceled the job. So then, because you know, that is a common excuse. I forgot.
Okay.
So would you be able to, maybe in the future, to just put like a little block there or something, just to make a note to say, job has been cancelled, and then stipulate the reason why. Wrong job was jobbed, or whatever the case may be.
Or you need to change the quote, so you need to reverse it back to a quote or whatever.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay. Jeff, are you back with us?
Yeah, I was just on a call.
Okay, no problem. Did you hear Justin's suggestion there?
I did, yeah.
I don't know if, I'm sure we'll discuss it and see if that's possible. Thank you, Justin.
No, that's a very plausible.
Okay,
addition.
Annalie has asked, can't we add a reason for cancellation that will also show on the order? Yes. Okay, so great minds think alike.
Fools seldom differ.
Correct.
Annalise, no fool, trust me.
She's actually is very clued up. I think she can give all the guys a run for their money.
Challenge accepted.
All right. So, guys, that's everything from my side, I think. I think I've covered everything. Jeff, please jump in if you think I've missed something at all.
No, that's fine.
All right.
Excellent. Thanks so much.
Any other questions quickly?
No, if you can just, as I said, let us know about the questions we asked when Jeff was offline.
Yes.
And then obviously just send us the link for the video so we can go over it again ourselves.
Okay, perfect. We'll do that. Thank you very much for attending. We're going to try and do the webinar a little bit more regularly in terms of new features and things that we add on Veculum so you guys can see how it works, if that would help.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good.
Okay. All right. Thanks, everybody. Speak to you
Thanks.
again. Okay. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.